Good day, everyone. I am Kenneth Roy Bastistiana from Crim1C.
Okay.
For today's video, I'm going to discuss about the reported cholera epidemic in the Philippines. Cholera Report of the cholera epidemic in the Philippines. The resistance struggle of 1899 to 1902 and the cholera outbreak of 1902 to 1904 are two separate events. In Philippine history, there is a separate series. The fight against the cholera of 1902 to 1904 has been represented as a drama whose theme is American heroism and medico-sanitary skill. Cholera claimed the lives of soldiers and inhabitants from all walks of life, including famous Filipinos, Chinese, and Spaniards. The convergence of colonial warfare and disease management was aided by advances in 19th century medicine. The Philippine-American War was in its fourth year in March 1902. The disease cholera is a small intestinal infection that causes diarrhea, vomiting, and muscle cramps. It is caused by the bacterium Vibrio cholera, which can be spread by contaminated water or food. People infected with the disease may experience severe dehydration and electrolyte imbalances, which can lead to death. During the Spanish era, the first pandemic to hit the Philippines occurred between 1852 and 1860. On March 8, 1902, American health officials in Philippines got word that an Asiatic cholera strain had developed in Guangzhou, China, and that it had spread to Hong Kong 5 days later. In the town of Bowen, the first case of cholera infection in Batangas was verified on May 24th. When the first incidence of cholera was diagnosed in Batangas, it had only been a month or two after. Batangueños were permitted to return to their homes after being held in concentration camps by the US Army since December of the previous year.
Modes of reflection.
The topic was the Philippines cholera epidemic, and we were able to analyze and reflect on the deadly disease from 1902 to 1904. Cholera has been increasingly reported in the past decade, most notably in two distinct places in Philippine history. Poor sanitation. Their sanitation system is inadequate. When people consume water that has been tainted with feces, the sickness spreads. The issue was that wells that were meant to be safe had been contaminated. Pit latrines are frequent in the informal settlements where the disease spread quickly. Diarrhea, vomiting, and muscle cramps. Cholera has a light, milky appearance that resembles water that has been rinsed with rice. Vomiting and nausea. Vomiting can linger for hours, especially in the early stages of cholera. Cholera infection is usually mild or asymptomatic, but it can be serious. Cholera causes severe symptoms such as watery diarrhea, vomiting, and leg cramps in about 1 out of every 10 persons. Rapid loss of bodily fluids causes dehydration and shock in these persons. It is societal because those kinds of feelings that a person is experiencing happen not only in that kind of disease, cholera, but also in other diseases that have those symptoms. Also, not only in one society, but if that disease spreads quickly, it could affect the whole community.